Hello and welcome into today's edition of the Arizona State Sun Devils Insider Podcast. My name is Kevin Hicks and I'm the lead beat writer for Arizona State Sun Devils on SI. And I'm so grateful to join you once again today. Just a great day. Less than 7 weeks out from the start of the Arizona State football season, which that will be the talk of the town for the next 7 weeks as things aren't going too well in other local sports avenues when it comes to the Phoenix area. Um, yeah, and it is Arizona State is the single biggest hope for the Valley, I'd say, moving forward. So that's going to bring a lot of natural anticipation. And yeah, once again, sorry, daily drill. Please follow me on X/Twitter at khicks_21 if you get an opportunity to do so. Boots will be on the ground at practice every single day I'm able to go. We'll be getting video content of practices, press conferences, games, everything in between, as along with my story content that you continue to support, and I'm so grateful for that. So let's get started in today's episode now. So, football is the talk of the program, the talk of Tempe, the talk of the Phoenix area, the talk of Arizona, really. The basketball program, the men's basketball program in specific, is kind of in limbo right now. Bobby Hurley is entering year 11 as head coach of the basketball program. We all know that. He's technically a lame duck right now since he did not receive an extension this season. He will only have 1 year remaining on his contract, and it feels like it's a tournament or bust situation for Hurley. It feels like there's really a mandate there for him to overachieve, shock the world once again, and get back to where he was 3 years ago. So we'll see what happens. I wanted to talk about just the basketball roster taking shape once again because they just received a commitment from Singhalese big man Dame Salam, 7'1", very skilled. Played at Oak Hill Academy, so that's a very prestigious high school. We know all those players that have come from there, Brandon Jennings and others. And he played overseas a little bit too, averaged over 2 blocks a game. And he's the second Singhalese player that committed to Arizona State during this cycle. If you remember, Mor Masamba Diop, who played overseas in Spain last season, he averaged 16 points, 8 rebounds, and 1.4 blocks a game. So Bobby Hurley is bringing in some very athletic, very defensive-minded players, especially at the big man spots, to kind of make up for the void that was left by Jaden Quaintance and Sean Phillips transferring. We all know Quaintance went to Kentucky and Phillips went to Missouri. They really needed to fortify that weakness, that hole that was left, and it feels like Hurley's doing a quality job of that. He also got Santiago Traore out of Argentina. Played for San Diego last season, I believe, averaged about 9 points, about 7 rebounds a game. So getting some guys that bring a stable floor to the table, getting some guys that are dependable, building up roster depth. Wings-wise, he's gotten commitments from VJ Wallace out of JUCO Triton College in Chicago. He averaged about 16 points a game last season, 6'6" wing. We all know Marcus Adams Jr., he's probably going to be the leader of the team, the best player on the team, former 4-star recruit. He played at BYU and Kansas before transferring to Cal State Northridge and playing last season there. He averaged about 16 points a game. He shot just a shade under 40% from the three-point range. He's a 3-level scorer, pretty underrated athlete. He can play team defense. Should be a pleasant surprise for the Arizona State roster. Could be good enough to challenge for an all Big 12 honor. Is possible. Alan Mukeba, senior forward out of Belgium. Played at Oakland University in Michigan last season. Averaged about 15 points, 7.5 rebounds a game. He's 6'6", 247. So shades of Zion Williamson, a great finisher. Awesome finisher. He does have a little bit of weakness when it comes to the expansiveness of his offensive game. He doesn't really have much range. He still has some room to grow as a passer, court vision, all that stuff. But there's no denying that he brings physicality to the table. So Hurley, you can critique Bobby Hurley all you want, but really, he's doing the best he can to fill out a roster that is just different from the last two seasons. And you can't fault him for trying something different. If something's not working and you try the same thing over again, it's probably not going to work. So trying to get a more experienced, more seasoned, deeper roster that kind of fits the more traditional build, that's probably going to serve Arizona State well moving into the 2025-26 season, which is year 2 in the Big 12. We all know they went 4-16. Struggled a lot with lack of depth. Hurley left 2 roster spots open, I believe, and a lot of the injuries, like including to Joe Sansanin and Quaytons, left them running 6 or 7 deep in several contests last season. So the increase in depth is certainly encouraging. And let's go to the guards now to close things out. So we all know Trevor Best. He was a late enrollee last season. He went to the Word of God Academy, the same school that Jaden Quaytons went to. And he flashed. He had a really strong game against BYU last season where he scored 18 points, I believe. So he could be somebody to watch. Mo Odom, he's really the guy that could flip the switch for the Arizona State team. A big weakness in Bobby Hurley's previous teams was that there was no pure point guard. There really wasn't. Frankie Collins, I guess, but he wasn't really a floor spacer. And that kind of hurt the offense. It kind of led to the offense stagnating in spurts. But Mo Odom shot 37.5% from, almost actually 38% from 3 last season. Averaged 13 points a game. 7.5 assists. He is a pure point guard, a floor general. He replaces Alston Mason, who did a great job in his role, but once again, Mason was more of a score-first guard, and Odom's more of a table setter. So let's see if Odom and his play style better suit what Bobby Hurley's trying to do this season, and it's probably going to work well. Adante Hollyman, he averaged 17 points a game last season at Georgia Southern. Really dynamic scoring guard. He is a little undersized, but that doesn't really matter too much. He's a better defender than his size might tell you, and he's ready to step in and play in the Big 12 in my mind. And possibly the biggest wild card of the Arizona State season in 2025-26 is Anthony Johnson. He was a dynamic scorer in the NAIA, which is a very condensed version of the NCAA, rendition of the NCAA. He was at Cumberland's College in Kentucky, averaged 23.6 points per game, shot 48% from the field, and was a pretty well-rounded when it came to the other counting stats as well. And he's getting a scholarship. He's enrolling directly from the NAIA, so that's very interesting. And he really, if he's as good as advertised, as good as the tape at Cumberland's College showed, he could be a player that takes Arizona State over the top and has them competing for a tournament spot come March. So that's all for today. I just wanted to do a little breakdown on all 3 position groups for Arizona State basketball heading into the season. Bobby Hurley tends to do his best work when his back is against the wall, and we'll see if that continues in 2025-2026. Arizona State fans should feel a lot better about this roster now than they did 2 months ago, and it feels like the roster is constructed with intention. It feels like there's really an end goal there in game. It feels like there's a method to Hurley's madness, and we'll ultimately have to see what they do on the court, but it looks good as of right now, in my opinion, even in a competitive Big 12. So that's all for today. Thank you so much for tuning in today, and I'll see you tomorrow.